Should you rush out and watch Beetlejuice Beetlejuice while it's still in theaters? Stick around for our review and find out. After a family tragedy, 3 generations of the Dietz family return home to Winter River. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her teenage daughter, Astrid, accidentally opens the portal to the afterlife. Yeah, so we're fresh out of the theaters for this one. We just got home and we're ready to talk some Beetlejuice. We're going to spill the juice.
We're going to spill the juice.
The juice is loose.
It is.
And that plot, that's a plot from IMDb. I think there's a lot more going on in this movie than that sum up. So we will get into that a little bit later. But I will say, man, it was nice to see everyone back.
Oh, man, it really was. I was so excited to see, especially Michael Keaton and Catherine O'Hara back. They were fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were amazing.
Yeah.
But Winona Ryder was back. Yeah, she was beautiful.
Yep.
Amazing. I love her.
Yeah, she did very, very well.
And then we had a lot of new characters.
We did. We had Jenna Ortega as Lydia Dietz's daughter.
Astrid.
Jenna Ortega is like a modern day scream queen. Hollywood just can't get enough of her right now. And I guess horror fans can't either because she is popping up everywhere.
That's true.
Yes, yes, yes. And we had Monica Bellucci.
Even I love her.
Really?
Like, I just...
We'll need a cold shower after this one.
She is so fabulous. And she plays Dolores. Beetlejuice's first wife.
Ooh.
Right?
He got some skeletons in that closet, buddy.
You almost get like a little Beetlejuice like prequel mixed into the plot. And she's fabulous. Her character design was awesome. I was immediately like, well, I know what I want to be for Halloween this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, she had like kind of like a Bride of Chucky thing going on. Like,
yeah.
You know, when Tiffany stapled up his face and sewed him back together and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I think in my brain, I went a little more old school and thought Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. She is pieced back together. It's kind of a cool look. We also had Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, the real star of the movie. Let's hear it for Willem Dafoe.
He really does like steal every scene that he's in. He steals, right? Like
Absolutely.
It's just he commands it. Like yeah, he's fantastic. I really enjoyed him a lot.
And there was even like a little guest cameo appearance by Danny DeVito,
which was fantastic.
Yeah,
like.
We knew it was him before, like, we didn't even need to see his face. We just saw his walk and heard his voice, and we're like...
Danny DeVito?
Yeah, right?
It was indeed. And then we also had Justin Theroux.
Playing one of my favorite characters in the movie.
Yeah, he plays a character named Rory, who is Lydia's manager. Right?
And fiance.
And a turn fiance during the film. Yeah. But if you're not familiar with Justin Theroux, he seems to me at least so far to have made a career out of playing smarmy, right? Like smarmy man. He does it so well. Like it's So yeah, all of the characters in the film I think were fantastic.
Yeah, the characters were nice. The acting was very well done.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about this. I feel like we had a great time, and so did the other audience goers. We had like a toddler in front of us that was just going wild, thought everything was hilarious.
She laughed hysterically the whole movie. And then we also had a woman that had to be in her 60s, late 60s, 70s, maybe even, and she was laughing. I mean, there were a couple times where she almost like shouted out. I don't remember what she said, but at one point she loved the moment like so hard she had to say something about it.
Yeah, so this is a movie that definitely gets some crowd participation going on.
Yeah.
One person we didn't have back is Lydia's father from the original, the name of which we do not speak.
We shall not speak. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because turns out in real life he was a child predator, and that's why he was not invited back.
But And everyone will be pleased to know that Tim Burton really took on, like, how he was gonna get rid of this character.
Oh, he handled him.
Like,
yes, sir.
It's like, oh, good. I'm so glad to know that you feel the way the rest of us do.
Get out. Like, get gone, bro. You're out of here, dude.
And then there were even some interesting, like, minor side characters, right? Because we had Burn Gorman play, like, a priest that you think the character's going somewhere because he's so weird and creepy that you're convinced, like, something's happening there. Something weird is nope. He's just this minor side character, like, but he's through the whole movie, and it doesn't go it's just this fun, like, splash of, like, color in the background of the movie.
Yeah. It was a really fun movie. It's not one that you have to sit there and dive deep into, or it's just a fun popcorn flick.
Yeah.
Of course it doesn't hold up to the original. What sequel does?
Yeah.
But I would rate the original like a 7 to an 8.
Oh, for me, a solid 8, if not an 8.5. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, an 8. I would go an 8. I actually misspoke. I meant like probably an 8 to an 8.5.
Okay.
So this one would probably be like a 6 for me. That's where I'm probably at.
Go a little higher, maybe a 6.5, 7. Like, so it's still like a
that.
Solid. I mean, some of that is, I think I laughed a lot harder than you did. So
you did. There was a lot of stuff I liked, but it didn't just evoke that,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. I had a really fun time with it. But we get into some things like the directing that was a little bit odd for me because I knew it was a Tim Burton movie, and when you hear the words Tim and Burton put together, your mind comes up with exactly what that looks like.
You have like certain expectations.
I have certain expectations,
especially for the aesthetic.
Yes, for the aesthetic, and I felt like this was one of those movies that, while it was a Tim Burton film, it felt like he was like Tim Burton sprinkles,
like Tim Burton light.
Tim Burton light.
Yeah.
We didn't get the full lager. We got the light version.
Tim Burton. I can totally agree with that. Now, I understand that some of that probably plays into the plot. There's a lot of, we're off location. Like, we're not in the original movie, you're either in the house or you're in the other world. Mm-hmm. And in this film, there are a lot more locations. And so... I think the fact that those locations are supposed to be so much more grounded in reality, you lose a lot of that aesthetic for sure. Like, that's how it felt for me. So yeah, you're not spending as much time. And in the original film, the house that is like, right, you have a house that's kind of a normal, like, country folk kind of house. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the other world. And then as Delia Dietz moves into the house and starts to take over, the house kind of gradually turns into this very Tim Burton landscape of oddness. But you're getting to watch all that happen, so you feel it more, right? And now Delia has owned the house now for like 30 years. And so you don't get, that evolution of the house. So it just kind of looks.
Yeah. And it kind of works in one way because it makes Beetlejuice its own movie on the flip side of that. Because you don't get a ton of fan service, like something like, not talking smack here, but the new Blumhouse Halloween trilogy had a ton of fan service, almost to where it felt like those movies didn't stand on their own. They relied solely on the 1978 film.
Yeah.
This one has its own story, it has its own plot, it has its own characters, and it has its own aesthetic. So it does, while it does have nods to the original, and it does make references to the original, which of course we love.
Yeah.
It's its own entity.
Yeah, it had its own gags, which I think is really important, and I think it's what makes this a better legacy sequel than a lot of the ones we've seen in recent years. And it is because, They wrote new jokes. They wrote new gags. They brought in new characters. They brought in new, like, weird side characters. And, like, yeah, so you do, it's still very grounded in the universe the original Beetlejuice took place in.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the rules apply. So you see a lot of similar things happening. You know, they draw the door to the other world with a piece of chalk and have to knock. And it's like, that feels less like a nod and more like a rule. Well, that's how this is done.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're just following the rules of how this world works.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? But like Beetlejuice's gags were all new gags.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
Yeah, they were. And while it does give him new gags, you get familiar things too. Like Catherine O'Hara's character is just lovely. You know what I'm saying? Like she does. So the characters that you already know and love, you're safe. You're safe there. The only one I would say was a bit different would be Lydia, which I guess is what we can get into now is some of those plot points.
Okay. Yeah. This is where our review is going to take like a little bit of a turn, right? Because I think it's been fairly positive so far, but
it has, and we like this movie. So
do.
to preface this,
yeah, I think like I guess a good way to say is the only issue we had with the film is there is so much going on. There are so many plots. Instead of one big, central plot for the film with a couple of side plots, this is multiple side plots. So nothing really feels like a singular central plot, right? Like, would you agree with that?
I agree. Even from the very beginning, we're set up with a plot. And you think, oh, well, this is where the movie is going to go. That gets shoved right to the side.
Yeah.
And then the plot that I read you in the beginning of this video, the big main plot, that doesn't happen until about an hour into the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
so
true.
Then that feels very rushed and not fleshed out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's some other side plots that go on during this film. We have a wedding angle, a couple wedding angles.
Two wedding angles.
We have the death, of course, of Lydia's father. We have the Jenna Ortega plot, and then we have Beetlejuice's ex-wife plot. And none of these come together in a fulfilling fashion.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, they all get tied up at the end.
They do.
Which is nice, because we definitely have had other films in recent years with, like, dangling plots, where it's like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have any of that. Like, this is, this is a seasoned filmmaker. He made sure all of the plots get tied off at the end so that you feel like, okay, complete. It's just that some of the completions felt very rushed.
Very rushed and I remember while watching some of those being tied up, I had actually expectations on where I hoped they would go, and the expectations I had were better than what I got.
Yeah.
For some of
which is too bad. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, and I know old fans of the channel will know, like, I'm a big fantasy fan on top of being a horror fan. And so I don't mind a 3-hour movie. I don't mind it. Like, and I would take one from Tim Burton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if he was like, we're going hard on all of these plots. You're going to get everything you want from all of these plots, but the movie's going to be 3 hours. I'd bite. I'd be like, done, sold. Show me everything. Like, I want to.
She would.
I would. I know that's not true for most people. So I'm sure you're, probably glad that it's under 2 hours. But it does then make some of the plots feel very rushed.
Yes. So much going on, and so much so that I feel like I hate to say this. I hate to say this.
Okay.
I feel like it sacrificed Lydia's character to a degree.
Oh, it absolutely did. It did. It did. And I mean, it's not that Winona Ryder's acting wasn't fantastic. She was fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
But yes.
She could have been, it may as well have been Joyce from Stranger Things.
A little bit.
Is how she was in this film. Unfortunately, the same Lydia we get out of the original is not the same Lydia we get in this one.
Yeah, and they give her valid reasons for that.
Yes.
But it doesn't give her, like, much of a character arc. So she's not who she was. There's reasons for that. They don't give her a lot of chance to get back to who she was. She
Yes.
almost kind of ends up rescued at the end.
Almost, and it's almost like she's
Like
wearing a costume of her former self.
Yeah.
Because she is still that person. She is still in that world.
Yeah.
But she doesn't act like it. It's
well, and I mean, and that's even acknowledged in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Delia, her mother, played by Catherine, her stepmother, says that. Like, tells her that. So that's absolutely part of the plot. I think the thing is giving her like a true character arc where she gets back to who she is would have felt much more fulfilling, right? Like, that's the problem with it being rushed, is she never gets back to that full like ownership of herself, right? Before the end of the movie, she does kind of get rescued.
And speaking of our lost characters, some of the new characters that we're introduced to are so rushed that you lose relationship building with those.
Okay.
I felt like, especially Lydia's prior husband.
Oh, true. That's true. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't want to give too much away on that.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil anything.
But I would say that that's true. That's very the moments that involve that are very rushed.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point of almost feeling awkward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would say another thing that this movie is missing, because we were so excited when the music kicked on in the beginning.
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman is back, but his music is absent in this one. It should have been more prevalent, I feel like. There was a lot of moments that really could have used that Danny Elfman swag about it, and it just didn't get it. They just the absence of that music to me almost made for some awkward comedic moments that didn't quite hit.
I can agree with that for sure. So, some of you might remember in the original film, they really used Danny Elfman not only for like the score, but also, there's like some circus music that goes on behind some of Beetlejuice's gags and stuff like that. And they didn't do any of that this time. So a lot of his gags are silent.
Yeah.
Right? There's silence behind his gags instead of that kind of fun circusy, that kind of made the whole moment kind of over the top and stuff. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. And I would say like, and it might be an era thing for sure, but I thought the songs that they used in this film didn't hit as well as the songs they use now they reuse Deo in a really cool sort of way, but the rest of the new songs they introduce, I don't think hit as well. Like they don't. The music in the original film is almost like its own character. For sure. It's its own thing. It's left its own legacy. Everybody remembers the Beetlejuice soundtrack. Yeah. This one, it's absent. Yeah. Yeah, they introduce a couple of songs, but they're not, the two most popular songs from the original movie are both Harry Belafonte songs. And which feels like such a bizarre thing to throw. Like they really were just kind of like very their own thing, anachronistic to like the rest of the film. So they did feel kind of like it, but they also had some, because they're sung by the same artist, like they had like a familiarity to them, like a similarity to them. And yeah, that didn't happen in this one. Like, no. I don't think anybody's going to walk away from this one singing the songs the way we walked away from the original film. No. And the iconic imagery from the original mixed with that soundtrack. I'm sure every one of you just had a scene flash in your head right now. Yeah. Yeah. I just walked out of this movie and I can't picture one. Oh, I can. There's one. Really? I can picture it. But the song didn't stick with me. Like, I couldn't sing this. Like, the song doesn't stick to me, but there is a big song moment towards the end of the film. Okay. And the song didn't stick with me.
The song doesn't, but the moment
imagery does. Like the music video, like moment of it, totally.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Okay. Now that I've got, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. So like Tim Burton's part of the job, right? He did great. Like he did a great job, but I don't remember the song.
No.
We just left the theater, and I'm still like, I don't. It was a weird song.
But overall, good movie. I would watch it again. I think this is a good one to take the family to. Like I said, we had a toddler in our theater with us.
She laughed so hard.
She did. And she also had a tween sister with her who had a great time as well. She couldn't stop. She was so excited to be there.
Yeah.
It was so cute. So this is a movie that you could take the whole family to see.
Yeah. Absolutely, because it's not like they didn't water down Michael Keaton to make it. So you're still getting kind of his dirty jokes, and he's super gross.
And they did do some clever things, though, to sneak some of those in without it being overly offensive.
Yeah.
They even bleep out one of his cuss words, which I thought was very clever.
It was clever because it was done in such a funny way that it worked. It worked
almost like a YouTube video. So it takes you out of which is Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Through and through. It almost like takes you out of the movie for a minute, and it's like, oh my God, I'm at a circus.
Yeah, they made it part of the sound effects. Yes, and it was that circus vibe that I was talking about earlier that,
Yes.
Yeah, and it still has a lot of that. Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
So overall, we liked it. We think you should check it out. But I have a mission for Anna right now. I have a question. Name me one thing you really loved about this movie.
Delia Dietz. Catherine O'Hara. My true belly laughs from this movie, I mean, my laugh out loud moments were all Catherine O'Hara.
Yes. They were. I was there.
Okay, favorite moment, favorite thing, whatever.
This is tough because there's a few.
Okay.
There's a few I really like. I really like the new age fiance that Lydia had. Like, I love him and some of his.
Rory, okay.
Yeah, he's over the top, like corny. He's trying way too hard, and I just love it. But there's a couple other things I like. Baby Beetlejuice and Bob.
And Bob.
Bob.
And Bob.
It's
Bob.
Bob. Oh my God. Oh, and
you would think that I know if you've seen a trailer, you know what we're talking about when we say Bob, and you would think that would be a gag that gets old it does not.
It never gets old.
It never gets old. As a matter of fact, they make sure, another nod to Tim Burton, it gets funnier as the movie goes.
Yes, absolutely. So I think, like I said, it's a toss-up, and there's another one that just came to me, but it might be a little bit of a spoiler, so I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go with Bob. I love Bob.
Nice.
I love that. I love how Bob just handles business. Bob is holding down the fort. Bob is a man who wears many badges.
Yeah, that's true.
In this movie. And I want, after this, if there isn't one, we need to create one for the Talk Horror merch store. A sticker that just says, "Hello, my name is Bob."
Done.
That needs to happen immediately.
Done. We'll do it.
We'll do it. Yeah, so that's our review of Beetlejuice. I don't think I have anything else to say about the movie other than I really liked it. It had some minor issues.
It did.
But overall, we had a fun time.
Yeah.
Don't take it too seriously. Did Beetlejuice need a sequel? Absolutely not.
No.
But it was fun.
Are we happy it got one, though? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we had fun.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. Because I think, like, the original movie is also, like, a family-friendly, silly movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this one was.
Yeah.
So
go watch it right now. Enjoy. And then leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of Beetlejuice. And don't say that name one more time.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, Anna, now you've done it. All right, my friends. Until next time, look horror.
Listen horror.
Talk horror.
Bye.